Then it comes to our Falls Count Anywhere match between Randy Savage and Crush, a match that goes a little under 10 minutes and ends when Savage and Crush fight into the crowd and out to the backstage. Savage pins Crush out in some backstage area bit and then hangs him upside down from some kind of winch type thing, and Crush can't get back to the ring within 60 seconds, which is the unique rule of this match. No idea why, but effectively you have to pin your opponent and then they've got 60 seconds to get back to the ring. Now, in terms of matches that are worse than Bam Bam Bigelow and Luna Vachon against Doink the Clown and Didn't Clown, this is one of them. This is not a good match at all. I don't care who's involved. The rules are ridiculous. Basically, the whole match is just waiting for someone to count to 60 seconds. It's just stupid. There's 3 pinfalls in 10, just under 10 minutes. It's not for me. Old man.
So they don't explain the rules. So Savage goes after Crush and his mullet because they are separate entities, I think. And he then gets picked up in a military press by Crush and dropped on the barricade and almost kills himself, Savage. Like, if he didn't hit his throat or his chin, then he is some kind of guy. And then he gets pinned. And I'm like, oh, weird. I don't remember. And we've had this before where I've watched shows. And I reckon I've watched this in the last 3 years, I reckon. No memory of this match, which is never a good sign for me. And yes, they do that, and then they explain the rules. And then it's just crap. And there's a bit where Crush full on hits his head into the ring post. Like, there's no faking it. He just headbutts the ring post. I was like, if he folded his mullet round, would have been all right. Now, the finish that you went through where he like ties him into the winch that doesn't work. So he kind of pulls his legs up and then they just go back on the floor. I quite like it because at least it's a bit different. But then I was like, why is it there? And then I was like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, you could do anything. And also, why did they go at the back? What he should have done is just basically and got some gaffer tape out and taped his leg to the ring post and hung him upside down. That's what they should have done. I'm not going to say it would have made the match a 5.5-star classic.
What they should have done, old man, is not made this a match where you get 60 seconds to get back in the ring after being pinned. And especially when one of the pinfalls, Savage does all of his moves, a double axe handle and the elbow drop off the top rope, and then realizes if he pins him in the ring, it means nothing. He has to actually roll him out of the ring in order to pin him. Just stupid.
This is 100%. If this isn't Savage, they've killed the crowd, I think, because the crowd are into Savage. They're not into Crush. Crush is terrible, isn't he?
Matt, any different opinions from you?
Just before I do start, have they ever had this stipulation before? You know, I'm assuming they've never done this afterwards.
Not that I remember.
Then this stipulation can easily be banished with the likes of the championship scramble. The stipulation was crap. It really was meaningless. Like, I didn't realize at first that that's what it was either. So I'm glad I'm not the only one who didn't know that. And literally when the first pinfall happened, I mean, I literally out loud just went, what the and I thought, no way. And I thought, hang on a second, something's got to happen here. I was like, no way is Randy Savage losing that quickly. And I was like, okay, so he hasn't. And then it continued, and it was all right. It was fine. It was neither thoroughly entertaining nor utterly. It was just there. The finish I thought was clever as well. Yeah, I mean, they didn't really need to do it all the way out the back where they did it. Like you said, old man, they easily could have done it surrounding the ring and, sort of tied his feet with tape or something like that. So there was no need for it to do it out there, but they did, whatever.
It's like an elongated last man standing match, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because there's just no drama. There would have been very little drama anyway, I must say. Between these two, there wasn't a whole lot of appetite in my belly for this match. But to take any semblance of drama away was just like, oh, what are you doing?
Well, I think also, again, it goes to how weak the roster is, because Randy Savage is having his one match that he's had in he actually has a match against Yokozuna a few weeks before this for the title. But other than that, this is basically Savage's one match for the year that he's having. And they've lined him up Crush because they don't really have anybody else. They really have a very weak roster. And so, they've made it again. This feud goes back to the end of the previous year where, again, it's Survivor Series 93, which we covered late last year. We talked about this. Crush comes out and costs Randy Savage his part in his Survivor Series match, and then Savage does the same to Crush. But before that, there was this sense that they were supposed to be friends. Don't know where that came from, but they were friends. And then Crush attacks Randy Savage, brutally drops him on the guardrail and all this. It's called, Vince McMahon even references it on commentary, it was called the Randy Savage and Crush Summit. this whole angle. And yeah, they've been basically a feud since then, and this is the payoff. And yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what they were thinking with the rules. I don't know, but I would have rather seen Randy Savage versus Bam Bam Bigelow, if I'm honest, in a match. That would have been better. But still, it just shows you, it kind of shows you where they were with this roster.